closer. Captain Marvel! And he finished things off here.
Yes, guys, and we are back. Sideline Talk podcast. Thank you to all of you that tuned into our Euro series. After a small break, we go again. I'm joined by my co-hosts Lee and Sam today. I'll go to you two first. Boys, how are we doing? Kingman Kingham, you all right?
What's happening? Well, roll on the new season, eh, boys?
Yeah, let's. I mean, you're a bit more confident than what I am, but yeah, we'll get into that. Miller, Dog, how's things?
Yeah, good, man, good. I'm ready for another season of hurt. Let's do it.
We move. Come on, Chris. Good to have you back on the panel, buddy. How you been? You right?
Yeah, good guys. Good. Thanks for having me back. Nice little break, but let's get started again. Let's get it going.
Yeah. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too sure on that one, but I'm sure my confidence will rise as the season goes on. Hopefully, but tonight we're going to be discussing the season ahead, our predictions for top four. The bottom three as well, and we'll basically just give a prediction for the weekend's games. Just a chin wag, really, bit of catch up, what we think of what's gone on. Obviously, transfers we'll touch a little bit on, but yeah, we'll sort of go through what development we think teams have made, and new blood that has come in. I'll start with you, Lee. Obviously, Liverpool fan. You got the shirt, so you're confident, you're proud. What have you made of the sort of pre-season and incomings into the Liverpool squad? Obviously, you had a few injuries last year. Van Dijk's back, but do you think you've done everything you need to sort of get back in that top four position comfortably, champions again? I think he's froze.
He's not there. I'm just looking at him like, is he blinking?
I think he's froze.
I think I'm back.
I think he's right. I think he's back. Yeah, Lee, we got you. I'm not sure if you caught that.
Your question there.
So basically, just how you sort of how you're feeling about the pre-season and the incomings in the Liverpool squad. How are you feeling leading up to this weekend? Do you feel like Liverpool can get back title contenders?
What incomings?
Yeah,
one.
One. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that says it all. But how much work do you think really needed doing? Because obviously you've got quite a bit of deadwood, and that's coming from an Arsenal fan. But there is a lot there that I'd have expected to see shipped out.
It's just nice to see players coming back, to be honest. Van Dijk's back, Gomez is back, Matip's back, Henderson's back. Thiago will be back. We've just got to hopefully we'll stay lucky with injuries this year, and that would be a massive plus in itself. And then obviously we've got Konate coming in. He looks like a good young centre off. So yeah, I'm feeling optimistic. Pre-season's looked all right. Last two games we looked pretty good. Even people like Minamino have been putting in performances. I know you can't say much from pre-season in terms of players that are stepping up, like people like Keita and Minamino, who probably end up being pretty crap in the season. But I'm feeling optimistic. I just think it's going to be such a tight season. It's hard to call.
Yeah, very, very, very true. Obviously, Liverpool have improved that back foot line, which wasn't unsurprising because of the injuries last year. I think it showed that you needed a bit more depth at the back. Obviously, if you'd have had Van Dijk in, that would have made it every bit of difference. But before I go on to you, Sam and Chris, and ask about Liverpool, I just want to say I hope Danny gets better soon. Our other host, he's unwell, so he's not with us tonight, but he'll be back very soon. Speedy recovery, buddy. Sam. What do you think about Liverpool this season? Do you think they can be back where they was? Obviously, champions the season before last. Do you think there's still work to be done there?
Yeah, I think there's obviously work to be done for pretty much any team. There's never always going to be the complete article unless you're a fucking Man City. But again, Lee touched on it quite nicely there. He said, hopefully they've got to rely on a couple of their key players staying fit and then avoid another injury crisis, and then they'll have to go on a run. I mean, I don't want to sound too harsh on them because obviously as an Arsenal fan, we're counting off another team ain't going to go well, is it? But I still think there's loads of work there to do. I thought they'd bring in another midfielder after losing Wijnaldum. I think that's a massive miss. Don't get me wrong. I know Thiago's probably finding his feet now, so he's got probably a better season ahead of him. But I don't know. I think they're a long way away from probably being champions. Top four contenders always, but let's be real. United strengthened, Chelsea strengthening, left, right, and centre. City are flipping, running away with it. So I don't know. I mean, I hope they obviously have a terrible season because obviously I don't want to see Lee smiling. But let's see what happens.
Nice to see the banner hasn't changed on here, eh? Chris, going to you, mate. What do you make of that about the midfield? Do you feel like Wijnaldum's going to be a loss on them? Obviously, there's a lot of talks that Liverpool need a striker as well. What's your opinion on Firmino?
I think with Liverpool and the attacking options last year, I think we saw it when Diego Jota was out for a spell, and it just seems Liverpool seemed to have kind of drifted off the bandwagon a little bit when he went, he came back and everything changed again. I think Sam touched on it brilliantly there. Wijnaldum leaves a big hole in the midfield, and I know that there was a few rumours of Barella from Inter Milan going to Liverpool, which actually would have really filled that hole. But yeah, I think the only thing that worries me is that there isn't much racket going on in the transfer rumour mill around Liverpool and central midfielders at the moment.
Mm.
And then Xherdan Shaqiri is now left as well. He's gone to Lyon, so I think. I'm guessing Lee, that's where probably Minamino will come back into the squad and be almost a sort of Xherdan's replacement. But I think the good thing going for Liverpool is you'd hope that Van Dijk and Gomez are like new signings, considering how much of last season they missed.
Yeah, very good point.
There's a few youngsters knocking about as well. Obviously, another big season for Curtis Jones to stamp his authority on the squad. And Harvey Elliott has looked the bollocks in pre-season. He looks superb.
Yeah,
So I think he might get about 15 games or so. There's a few youngsters coming through. Yeah, they might get more of a chance if we don't sign anyone. Yeah, Ox has done a full pre-season. That's another positive.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, Ox is still knocking about.
Yeah, he's still
I thought he would be one to go. Like even Origi, what is Origi still doing there? He's been there years. Best thing he's done is probably that champion. Yeah, that's probably true. To be fair,
I think he's the link with West Ham. That's about it.
While we were touching on Liverpool, I've just got to bring this up. Looks like you oh my god! But yeah,
that part, man. You have to put it out there, didn't you?
Do what me and Sam have done. To be fair, yeah. Just for the record, I'm no longer blonde. Well, not even blonde. It was more like a golden palaver, really. But yeah, we'll unfortunately go next on to Chelsea. Obviously, given last night, I'm not going to congratulate them because it's just not what Arsenal fans do. And they done it by the skin of their teeth against Villarreal. I'll go to Chris first this time. I'll mix it up a bit. Chris, what's your thoughts on, as we've just been touching off air, they've just brought in Lukaku. So they're sort of adding fuel to the fire, you could say, because I think they looked like real contenders after the win in the Champions League anyway. They always looked like they were going to come, especially under Tuchel. But how much of a threat do you think they are this season, given the fact they've now brought Lukaku in?
Oh, I think they're up there, and I think they're one of the probably deservedly the main team that could potentially challenge Man City. I think you look at their form under Tuchel end of last season. The fact that they seemed to be the only team that could actually beat Man City and actually comfortably control Man City. We saw it in the Champions League final. It was a job well done from Thomas Tuchel there, and they've kept key players and they've strengthened Romelu Lukaku. And the thing that impressed me with Chelsea was, there was all this talk about Haaland. When it became apparent Chelsea weren't going to get Haaland, they just moved on to Plan B, which was bring Romelu Lukaku back to the club, and they did it efficiently. 95 million is a lot, but considering the form he's hit at Inter Milan, he was Serie A's most valuable player last season. He won all the accolades. He's just, he is a fantastic striker that I think in a lot of ways, if you look at the way that Inter lined up last year with Lukaku and Martinez up front in a 3-5-2, if Tuchel carries on with the 3-5-2, I think that could unlock Timo Werner and also bring Havertz further into the game as well as those sorts of supporting options. If you look at the way Inter played, Martinez flourished under Lukaku. So on the flip side, I'd be interested to see how Inter get on with Martinez. No, without Lukaku, but for the Chelsea side of things, I think we could see a different Timo Werner starting up alongside him.
Very, very good comment there. I've put Werner in my FPL and I've got in my fantasy league team, and I've had so much slander from it. But what people need to remember, he was scoring goals. He just couldn't find the line. Like I remember a game. I think he scored a hat trick of goals disallowed for being offside. I think I completely echo everything you've just said there. I think Werner will come alive with him in. Lee, I'll go to you, mate. What did you make of this signing, and how much of a threat to the season do you think Chelsea can make? Obviously, it's going to be tough because technically, if they come in and become these title contenders, that sort of it's sort of put some wheels in motion. And Liverpool, there's only 4 places for that Champions League role. One of them's usually potentially an outsider, which will go on to some of the ones that could be contenders for it. But what do you make of the difference that Lukaku can bring to the table?
As much as I hate Chelsea, and I really fucking hate them, it's hard to look past how good their squad is. Their depth is ridiculous. I can't imagine there being too many games where Werner and Lukaku start up top together. I think he'll play one or the other, or he might play Werner out wide. I just think that's the way Chelsea play, one up top, and could use Werner as an impact sub even with his pace. But yeah, they're a ridiculously strong squad. I'm quite glad their game went to extra time last night. I'm hoping that might fuck them over for the weekend. And it'll be interesting. Like, I think it's Liverpool-Chelsea or Chelsea-Liverpool, 3 games in. So that should be a nice little early barometer between the two clubs and see where they're at as well. But Chelsea, they're going to be in the top. They're in the top 3, I think.
Yeah, it's and obviously United, which we'll touch on in a minute as well. They're coming through with a strong side, but I agree with the fact that yesterday might give them a bit of a knock of confidence. I mean, they've got the home fixture first, and then, like you say, they go into Liverpool a couple of weeks. But Sam, in terms of Chelsea, and do you think this is now a squad that it is going to be a case of how well the manager can do, or do you think it's just a brilliant team? Anyone in that, because obviously they've got depth, like Lee's just touched on. Havertz, you've got Conte, who obviously I think the whole world love him. I don't know someone that hasn't actually said a bad word about him. On and off the field, he's just one of them players. Jorginho just had a great Euros. I'm not sure how much of a role he'll have this year, but there's a lot of players there. Do you think now it's a case of the fact there's no excuses? They need to sort of be winning something because they've got the Super Cup and the Champions League, but the Premier League is also a big fish that you want to go for.
I think that I feel like they're now equipped to go for a lengthy, long season campaign battling at the top. I think that Lukaku signing is a massive statement too. It's going to take the pressure off Werner, isn't it? Let's be real. If Lukaku scores, let's say 20 odd goals, I know it's optimistic, whatever. Werner gets 10, 15 or something like that. They're going to be up there, aren't they? They've only conceded 17 goals in their last 31 matches. So if they start to do up that defence, they're always going to score goals, aren't they? And now they've added a class player like that. It's scary. It's actually so depressing.
It is people talk about the fact that money can't buy you victory as well, and money can't buy you success and happiness. But someone touched on, I can't remember which of you it was, about City and I think it was you, Miller, when you said, unless you're City. This is what teams are doing now. Chelsea has spent 100 million on one player. United have done the same. Who, funny enough, we'll touch on next. United, obviously, Sancho coming in. I'm not sure what's going on with Varane. It's gone a bit quiet. I don't know what sort of happened there, or whether if it's been announced.
It's done, isn't it?
Yeah, it's done.
It is done.
He's got quarantine, so they're just going for all the quarantine checks and stuff.
Okay, so it's pretty. I was going to say, Chris, you're the man to go to for that. But so they've spent quite a bit of money there. A centre half in, obviously someone out wide, which should be good with Rashford out for the first 2 or 3 months, I think it is. But United now are in a position where they need to go for glory. Obviously, they lost out on the Europa League last year. Don't get me wrong, I was happy as Larry, but if I was a United fan, it would pain me to see so much money being thrown in. I think we said on the pod last season, they spent about 700 million or something stupid, ridiculous in the last few years. Chris, do you think it's now a case of Ollie's going to be, I'm not saying he's going to be on the ropes, but he's got to probably start off well, considering the fact that, and he's still got everyone there. They haven't sold anyone.
Oh, 100%. Like, I think this is the season that Ollie needs to deliver something. And actually, I think it needs to be something tangible. I think you need to be up there fighting with City for the Premier League. And I think, it was last season was a weird one in the sense that they got exited exited the Champions League in third place. If you imagine any big club in Europe exiting the Champions League in third place, there would be absolute, chaos. Imagine Real Madrid. There was even talk of Real Madrid finishing third in their group, and it was just an obscene thought. But Man United finished third, and it was okay because they got to Europa League final, but then they lost that. They need to win silverware, and I think this is a big statement from the owners. Like, I know the owners get a lot of stick from Man United, and but they've gone and got Sancho. They've gone and got, a Champions League winning Rafael Varane. They're putting money into the club now. And this, I don't know anywhere else where, they can pump any more money into those areas. They've got, 80 million Harry Maguire, 40 million Varane. They've got Wan-Bissaka 50 million. Luke Shaw had the tournament of a lifetime at the Euros. This is Man United now. They need to win a trophy this year.
Yeah, 100%. Sam, obviously, Man United. We touched on the Europa League final last season, and the fact that they were so far but not there. Man City, obviously, the rivalry that's come from them. We look back to the Aguero moment and something. Do you think there is a chance that they could perhaps step aside, or do you think it's just always too good to be true? Because we've just mentioned the defense, right? That's just their defense alone. They've got an outstanding midfield. I think if you put someone next to Pogba, it's probably the best team in my eyes. If you look at the wingers right now as well, and if you replace Cavani in a year or so, they've arguably got the second best team in the Premier League. Chelsea's probably the only one next on top of that. I'm not digging out Liverpool here, but when based on money and standard of the squad at the moment, it probably is them. Do you think they can they will bottle it again, or do you think it is going to be the time where they win something? It's not just the Premier League either. I suppose FA Cup is a bit of an scapegoat. We know that, being Arsenal fans.
I don't think that they're the finished article yet. I still think the difference between them and your Chelseas and your Cities and stuff like that is manager. I think the managerial tactics and game changing moments and stuff. I don't think Ollie's got that respect from rival clubs and from probably the fans itself. I think he gets away with a lot. I don't think they're gonna be as title challenging as everyone makes out. I think obviously on paper they've got a really good squad. I think it's
good point to touch on with the fan. Good point to touch on with the fans as well. Lee, do you think the fans back at Old Trafford this season will have an effect on Ollie? Obviously, we saw what happened with the protests. They managed to get into the stadium. God knows what madness happened there. But do you think they're gonna be gunning for him in the first couple of games, or do you think they'll give him a bit of a chance to sort of adjust into it? Because he's had a full season without fans, so there's no real pressure there as what there could be.
I don't think they'll be gunning for him early doors. No, I think you've got to remember last season. You've mentioned Europa final. They were only 12 points off City in the league. It's not that far.
It's true.
And obviously they've made the signs they need to make. They've got a partner for Maguire at the back who they needed. They've got Sancho, they've got Greenwood, who's another year older, who finished the season in phenomenal form. They've strengthened their area in the areas they needed to. It's just, I don't think the fans will make too much difference.
It's what I mean. They've spent money. They've spent money as well, haven't they? Sam, you right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm a bit delayed on my headphones. So I was going to quickly say, touching on their squad and everything, do you guys think this is Martial's last chance?
He won't get in that squad. Yeah. He won't get. I can't see him get. I saw a stupid tweet yesterday saying how I think it was from Sky Sports themselves actually. Can Martial win the league for United? I'm pretty sure it was Sky Sports that. And I thought, when Rashford's fit and available, how is he getting into that team? Because for me, you don't keep Cavani on for another season without playing him. Greenwood is going to get.
He'll have to play himself into it, won't he? He's got the chance at the start of the season with Rashford out to get himself in that team.
Even so, I'd still play that. Yeah, like you remember, he was meant to be the next Henry, and he's been to me. It's been the biggest disappointment I've ever seen. I'm not even just gunning. No wonder they've signed Sancho. He was, and 35 mil. Okay, fair play. Now it probably doesn't look like a lot of money given his age, but then it was 35 mil was back then was quite a bit of money for a winger that no one had arguably heard of. But yeah, I think Sancho, Greenwood, and Cavani for me all day long. We'll quickly touch on City. I don't want to talk too much about them because it's the inevitable. We all feel the same. Chris, what did you think about the whole statement from Villa? Obviously, the chairman come out. I think it was the chairman, and he basically said they put the price tag on him to make sure that no one could afford it because they knew that it was an obscene price tag. Basically, that's what he said in his words. They said 100 mil, and you can have him because they thought no one's going to pay that. City went and did. What did you make of that, considering the depth in the City squad at the moment? And like we said, there's only less than 20 days now until the window's over. Do you think now it's just they've just got too much? Because all they can go for now is the Champions League. Really, they keep winning the Premier League, so it's like, right, you need to now go for the big, like the biggest fish in the pond, and the quadruple they were meant to get last season they missed out on massively. But what did you sort of make of that signing? It's hardly a statement because they City just do what they want. But do you think it is a case of them just using the money they've got to fill the final hole, to fill that gap of not having the Champions League?
Oh, that's a hard one to be honest, because I think as you said, this got such a big plethora of attacking midfielders and attacking players, and to mix it up and everything. It'll be interesting to see how, and the thing with Pep is you always get a feel of how he wants to play his team and how he wants to line up over the first few 5, 6, 7 games of the season, and you kind of get a feel of who the outcast is going to be. Let's be honest, no one saw John Stones having the season of a lifetime last year after Laporte the season before. And there's now talk of Laporte wanting to leave City. So City is just so unpredictable from a standpoint of what their starting 11 is. But I think from a Villa standpoint, fair play to them. They put a figure that they thought they could be comfortable with, 100 million. And look at the players they've brought in. Buendia from Norwich, great signing. Leon Bailey from Leverkusen, another great signing. I'm quite intrigued to see how Villa will finish. Potentially maybe challenge for the UEFA Conference League, Europa League spots. They could be in the mix for the top half of the season. So it'd be interesting to see how Villa perform over the course of the season. But from a City standpoint, I think the fact of the matter is, they're talking today that City have got 150 million ready to go for Kane. If they do that, then PSG are going to have rivals for the Champions League title.
Yeah. That's a good point. Lee, obviously they've just lost Community Shield to Leicester, and from what I saw from the highlights, it seemed a bit clear what was needed, and that is that striker. Because as much as Aguero didn't play last year, they should really be replacing him and getting someone in. Because I'm not saying Gabriel Jesus is the worst player in the world. By all means, he's not. But do you think it is imperative that they fill that role? Do you think that they'll struggle without Harry Kane this season? Because there's not really many other options out there for the quality that they'd want.
No, I don't think they'll struggle at all without a striker, to be honest. They didn't last season. De Bruyne played that role very well last year when he played there. The attacking players they've got, I think they'll be fine. Sterling can sit in there, like you said. You've got Jesus, even though he ain't the greatest. I think even if they don't sign Kane, they'll be fine. They'll still be they'll probably be. I still back them to be champions, to be honest.
Yeah, nice. Hold on to that thought. I think Sam, you're probably going to agree with the latter, that it is a case of the fact they're just too good now. But can you see them still making any sort of decisions in terms of departures? Because I know we were stupidly linked with Bernardo Silva, and it was one of the most embarrassing things that I've ever seen. Because let's be honest, why go for burgers when you've got steaks at home? Like no one, he's. I know it sounds horrible, but I'm just being realistic. Do you think there's a potential now that Grealish will take over, because they've got so many options out wide, and I'll be honest, every single one of them is better than our options. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being truth, especially after the season, the summer that Sterling just had. But do you think there is sort of time for them to get rid of players? Because there's going to be a lot of players that are just sitting there wanting, a piece of the cake. Like you can't bench Bernardo Silva all season, and even using him as a rotation player is an insult.
No, I agree with you. I think there is far too many attacking players, wingers, attacking midfielders there for them to hold on to keep them happy. Let's be real. But at the end of the day, it depends where they're at in their professional mindset, is whether they want to sit there, probably win the league, potentially win the Champions League. It's all well and good when you're winning, isn't it? Let's be real. It's a completely different kettle of fish. But yeah, I don't know. I think time's running out. They were going to leave. They probably would have gone just after the Grealish came, so probably last week or so. But I don't know. I think, like you said, getting into City players is an absolute joke as an Arsenal fan, isn't it? We're never going to.
I had to bring that in. Because it's been making me so bloody angry reading some absolute crap on Twitter. But yeah, if you really believe that can happen, then fair play to you. Come and give me some of what you're drinking. But yeah, what I'm going to do now, we'll go round and I want to get like a prediction top 4. Then we'll crack onto the games on the weekend. So Chris, I'll go to you first, mate. Based on facts we know now. So this is given no Harry Kane. Harry Kane's still at Tottenham, because for me, I'm not convinced it's going to happen. I feel like it all depends on what happens between Tottenham and Man City, obviously at the weekend, which one of the games we'll talk about. And then there's only a very small portion of time left. What would your prediction be for the end of the season based on the teams that they have now? So no more incomings.
Okay. Well, City champions, Chelsea runners up, United third, Liverpool fourth.
Literally exactly what I've gone for, funny enough. And then I won't go into the 5th and 6th. Then I've got Villa 5th and Arsenal 6th. Shows how much confidence I've got at the moment. But I'm going to get slandered. I'm going to get slandered. No, it's just the truth. At the moment, you've got to be honest, haven't you? You got to see what's right. The writing's on the wall. Mill Dog, what would you agree with that prediction? I mean, I'm literally spot on with Chris, or do you think there's someone that could perhaps pop in there? Because we spoke on those, because they are the top 4 teams, really, which is why we've discussed them. But do you think there's an opportunity for Villa or even Leicester? We've seen Leicester that keep creeping in. No,
I think it's exactly how you boys have got it down. It'd be interesting to hear what Lee thinks. But yeah, I think Liverpool will be 4th and then exactly that order as well. I mean, I actually want Liverpool to have a fucking shit season as well, like I said. But I would love Leicester to do it. I think that...
I'd be 4th for ages. Huh? What you said again, we haven't been 4th for ages.
No, because I mentioned it earlier, that's why. I said that, I want you to have a shit one. But yeah, I'd love Leicester to do it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they've got the squad. They've got a couple of aging players, haven't they, in the sense of Vardy and all that. So yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, good touch on Vardy as well. I wonder how many more seasons he's got left. And obviously they've brought Daka in, great little player. Lee, how do you feel about that? Liverpool 4th.
I would whack them up 2 places to 2nd, to be honest.
You're right.
I'm going back.
Based on the team you've got
back.
Based on what?
Van Dijk being back and the fans being back at Anfield, that home form will make a massive difference.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, that's a great comment. You have got a good fan base, so I've got to give you that. A home crowd at Anfield.
We finished 3rd last year with Reece Williams and Nat Phillips at the back. Do you know what I mean?
Hopefully no repeat. Hopefully no repeat of the 8 losses at home in a row.
Yeah. That's a good point. Have you still got? Is he still about that Nat Phillips? I remember you saying Nat Phillips.
He's still there. He's still linked with a move, but yeah, he'll
have to get out of that club, because there's no way he's going to compete with the likes of Konate, Van Dijk, even Gomez. You've still got Gomez, haven't you?
We'll probably put late.
I'm hoping Tuchel does the typical Chelsea manager of just like flopping after a little bit. At his moment in time in the Champions League. Yeah, I know, but he had his moment in the sun winning the Champions League last year. So I'll go Chelsea 3rd, United 4th.
Nice.
Lee, quick one.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question quick? So say, for example, if you do say finish 4th or 5th or anything like that, do you reckon pressure starts to mount and crop?
Say that again? If he finishes what?
Say if you finish 4th or 5th, or even outside of the like Europa's placements. Is that pressure on Klopp or not?
Outside of Europe, yeah, definitely.
Okay. You gotta love him. I thought that might have been a bit of a tough.
Yeah,
tough
do.
answer,
But if you're outside of Europe with that team he's built, but which I don't think is going to happen.
Nice. It's interesting that everyone's gone for City champions. I honestly didn't think that this year. But I suppose when even with Grealish coming in at the moment, they're still, like you said, they can just whack someone out into the central part. Bottom three, this is going to be difficult. I honestly, at the moment, I don't know who I would put in there because I think it's tricky.
I've got one.
Yeah, I've got one definite, but I don't think I've got the others. I'll go to Lee first. Lee,
I've got two definite. I think. I think Watford and Brentford definitely go. Watford and Brentford.
I hope your mate's watching. Jesus.
Sorry, Scotty.
They're not in mine. They're not actually in mine. So Watford and Brentford, right? I'll come back to you. And Sam, is that was one of your definites there? Mine wasn't.
Yeah, actually, I haven't managed to think of a third, but I've got Burnley, who's fucking shit. Let's be real. Fuck them. And yeah, Watford as well. I don't want to be so harsh on Scotty. I think they've made a couple of signings, didn't they? But I reckon they're something like that Fulham team, all talk and do absolutely fucking nothing.
A Burnley, a new Fulham.
I think there's about 6 teams down there that could be in trouble. There's about the teams yesterday.
Look at Newcastle. Look at Newcastle.
I think Crystal Palace could be in big trouble this year. Crystal Palace for me could be right down there.
I hear Newcastle are getting a good player from Arsenal.
Yeah, he's going to save them.
I think they'll be all right, Newcastle.
Chris, I'll go to you, mate.
I'm controversial, so I agree. I agree with Watford and Brentford. My controversial one is Southampton.
Yeah.
Danny Ings gone. Yeah, maybe.
Armstrong's a good replacement, but there's a question mark.
Is that Vestergaard gone as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's linked with Leicester, and I think it's Leicester and Tottenham he's linked with.
And Vestergaard, Vestergaard's gone to Leicester because he's gone to replace Fofana after that.
That's quality. That's quality business, though, isn't it? 15 million for Vestergaard as a replacement. Yeah. I think that's different gravy. That because you'd think like a player of Fofana's standard last season, you need to spend big bucks.
No one's mentioned Norwich either.
I forgot about that.
To be fair, my three are Norwich. So Norwich at the bottom. I'm going to go Brentford second bottom, and then I'm going to say Newcastle. I don't think Joe Willock's enough to keep him in it this year.
I'm writing that on my list. No.
I think I am writing this down. I just feel like their time's running out in this league. I feel like Newcastle.
What about Callum Wilson, St. Maximum?
Well, Wilson's actually in my fantasy team, so I mean that speaks for itself. He can score goals. Pardon? I feel like there's bigger fish. I feel like there's bigger fish in the pot. Yeah, but let's be honest. How many seasons have they struggled? And I think this season there's just Newcastle. I'm not saying they're always down there, but I feel like Newcastle are never, surprising. They're always in the same position. This year, I don't know.
They're always the bottom side of the table, but the top half of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like 14, 15 for Newcastle normally.
Yeah,
I am interested by Norwich because Daniel Farke, they stuck with him. When they got relegated, he's gone and won the championship again, and they're back up again, and he's going to second pot it. Let's see if he's learned his lessons from the first time. They tried to
play good football as well.
Did you want to put a bet out there, boys, on who's going to be the? I mean, we can always say this on another show. Then, if I'm jumping in, we still put a little wager on who could be the top scorer.
Top scorer.
Well, it's not Aubameyang.
You was asking for that. You was absolutely asking for that.
I did say I was going to be an Arsenal player, didn't I?
No, I would honestly, if I was going to put a bet on, I'll tell you what. I would say it all depends, though, doesn't it? If Kane goes City, different gravy. But I wouldn't even say him. I'd say maybe De Bruyne. I honestly believe.
Goal scorer.
Yeah.
Top scorer.
I don't know what.
You've got to remember how many games De Bruyne misses a year, mate.
Actually, yeah. Take that back. Take that back. Take that back. The injuries in the last 2 seasons. That's why he's not in my fantasy team, because he's just always bloody injured. No, I'll take that back. I can't answer it because of Kane. It all depends on him. If he's in
I'll go
City's
for
thing,
Mo Salah.
nah, not again.
Always doing these stupid fucking calls.
You know what? Actually, in
How's that
Lee's defense,
stupid?
I'd argue.
He scores goals.
Go on, Chris.
I was not going to say I'm kind of swaying towards Mo Salah as well. I'm just thinking about it.
Fucking hell.
Diego Jota.
Yeah.
No, I just
That's
don't.
almost me going, that's like me going fucking Callum Wilson or something.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if Kane does go to City, it depends how Pep wants to use Kane, because Kane likes to drift into midfield. We saw that in the Euros, and it frustrated us quite a lot of the time and everything like that. So if Pep wants to utilizes Kane's ability to drop back, then you're going to see a distribution of goals. You always see a distribution of goals with City. I think Chelsea will be a distribution of goals as well. It is that focal point, and we haven't really discussed Tottenham, but if Kane does stay at Tottenham, is Nuno Santo going to take Tottenham to a new level? And is Kane going to have a season like he has previously? So no, that's why I'm swaying towards Mo Salah. There is a level of consistency there that Liverpool's goals do go through Mo Salah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think the front three will be so different this year as well, because like you were mentioning pre-seasonally, where like Jota's come in and he's been looked phenomenal for you. So I think Firmino is going to be in a bit of trouble. And there's been all this talk about you. I think how do you? I'm not going to try to pronounce the name.
Please.
No, VLA. I don't know how to pronounce it. Vlahovic. I'm just going to go.
I don't know who you want about, mate.
I think Vlahovic. I'm pretty sure that's the name. He's a striker, but I was just reading these sources. Oh,
Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Vlahovic.
Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Okay, I was close. Yeah. And he there's all these links with a striker. We spoke about Firmino last season, how like him and Laka produce the same sort of numbers each year, but Laka gets slandered. Do you think if Firmino sort of was replaced, do you think that's it done? Because I know he does more than goals. But if surely Salah's even a better option in that middle if he's scoring all the time for you. I know he can cut into the left.
It's not just about scoring, though, is it?
Yeah,
he's got a system, isn't there? In fairness to him, it's been working over the last year. So
yeah, I'm just trying to think of that.
I think Mane will put up better numbers this year as well. I think he'll up his game.
I'm trying to think of an outsider. I hate thinking of someone that's an obvious one because it's just pointless. But at the moment, who is there? Salah, Kane, who?
Son?
I mean, we were talking about it. Quickly on Tottenham. Where would you put them this year? Because they were none of us top 4. I reckon it's 7th again. Because
I will go 7th. Yeah.
No,
I'm going to go 6th.
I think their top scorer, Dele Alli.
10th.
It'd be between 7th or 8th. I'm interested to see. You ain't mentioned him today. I'm interested to see what Everton do.
I don't want to. I'm worried for Everton.
Actually, subject about them, innit?
I'm worried for Everton. I honestly think they're in very they're just coming from a meltdown.
Now they've lost Fiddler.
What did you call him?
The Fiddler. You know what a fiddler is, mate.
Yeah, I just wondered what you got. Fiddler on the roof. Yeah, no, but it's not just Sigurdsson. Like they lost Ancelotti in such a brutal way. And it's just what are they going to know?
Rafa's a good manager, but they're making shit signings, in my opinion.
And this is what I mean.
What is
he going to do? What is he going to bring to the table? What did he do at Palace? Scored a couple good goals against City one season, maybe. And he's old. I just don't get it. I don't even see the point.
Probably better than Iwobi, though.
No, but they've got Richarlison and who's the other guy out wide? Richarlison.
He spat my drink out. Richarlison. They still got Calvert-Lewin scores goals.
Rodriguez will go, I reckon. On the final days, Rodriguez is gone. I think Ancelotti is going to get something in play because you don't need a player like that, and especially because it's Madrid, it just seems like it's written.
I can't see him go back to Madrid. Madrid are trying to cut their wage bill. Was it Odegaard's been linked to Arsenal again?
They'll sell them though, won't they? Like they're not going to
I
keep
don't
like
think.
Odegaard, Ceballos. I don't think they'll keep all them. No way.
No, it's yeah. There's
Yep.
Odegaard, Isco. They're all both. Either one of them two are going to go.
I think
Ceballos as
Rodriguez
well,
is
he's never-
finished. Rodriguez is finished at a big club. He didn't do much at all last year, in my opinion. He started well. He looked quality at the start, and then he faded.
You're not going to give him the
He's
benefit
not-
of doubt, though. First season in the Prem, do you know what I mean? Struggling side.
It's supposed to be. He's been at Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. He started at the World Cup. He shouldn't have any problems adjusting to the Premier League when you've been playing at that level.
Yeah, fair.
Everton were probably, I reckon, bottom half of the table this year, definitely, because they're just going to struggle. I think they will struggle. Yeah, but when you look at the teams, we've spoke about Villa, yeah? Leicester have brought in Samara and Daka, quality business. So that's already, 6, 7? I can't see Arsenal finishing in the bottom half. I don't think we'll get there. It will get to a point where Arteta is gone and we have to make drastic situations. Like, we have to do things fast. You got Tottenham as well. I don't think Nuno can afford to be in that position. And how many players? That's like 8, 9 teams. I can't see Everton fitting in now. I don't think they've got enough. I think they're going to really struggle with that cam role as well. Like you said, Sigurdsson, don't get me wrong, he's not the best player in the league by a long mile, but
He was quite important then, though.
he was important. And yeah, he was. I feel like he was a figure in the dressing room for him as well. He was there years. So it would be interesting.
Pictures to all of that.
Oh,
And
God,
West Ham
right.
as well. West Ham will probably be above him.
On that note, so we said to Chris off air beforehand that basically we're going to go through some games quickly from the weekend, and then Chris is going to pick 3, which myself, Mildog, and Kingman Kingham are going to predict the results for. Danny's going to join us as well, but he'll give his results after the show, which we'll post on our socials tomorrow. And then at the end of the month, we're going to tally up a little point to see who's got the least, and there'll be a forfeit, which will be basically a choice between anyone watching, anyone on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll put out an A and B, so you'll get to choose what the forfeit is. So it will obviously be one of the 4 of us. We're not going to do it to the guests. We're not that horrible. But yeah, I'm going to start with United Leeds. I think the first, I'm not going to go to the Arsenal game just yet. I'm leaving Arsenal to last for obvious reasons, so we can touch on it briefly. But I think it's too easy for United. Early kickoff home. What do you make of this one, Sam? Just touching on it briefly. Don't give a result just yet because I don't want to do it for every single game.
I won't give a result, but I'm going to bring the stat pad out, boys. I'm going to bring the stat pad out. Right.
Proper home.
This might help you change. This might change your mind a little bit. But 7 of United's last 9 Premier League games have had at least 3 goals. That's stat 1. Stat number 2. Leeds finished last season just 3 points shy of European football. Stat number 2.
Proper done your homework, haven't you?
Yeah, mate. I'm honestly new season. Me, you ready for this? Right.
Cheers, Jeff.
Leeds United last 4 outings in the league produced 14 goals in total. So remember that.
It's like having Carve on the pod.
You know what I mean? Careful what you wish for, boys. But yeah, I think going back to the actual point of those stats, there'll be goals this game. Leeds United are exciting to watch. United somehow scored goals. So yeah, I won't say my result, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how Leeds perform as well, because Leeds were quite good. Leeds were hot and cold last season, I think. But finishing in the top half of the table, I suppose, is something for them. I don't want to go to a game like each person for the games because there's just too many. Burnley, Brighton, it's just got death written all over it to me. I won't be watching this one. In fact, it's not a bad one to pick, really. It's not. I bet Chris is going to probably pick it now because it's probably the hardest one to choose. I wouldn't know too much about either of them. I don't think they've really brought any players in, especially Burnley. I'm pretty sure Chris Wood's going to be starting all season. Chelsea against Palace. Again, Chelsea at home turf. Easy game, coming off a victory. 2 trophies in 4 months? Has it been 4 months? So I think they'll do that with ease. Everton against Southampton. That's another one I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't put any money on it. Obviously, who was it who said Southampton? Was it you, Lee?
That was me.
Chris? That was Chris. Obviously, they've got rid of Ings. They've brought in Adam Armstrong. I know you know some players quite well that I don't know. I'll be honest, I know him because he scores a lot of goals in the Championship. I've never actually watched him. Is he someone that can do the sort of job that Danny Ings does, or is he a different player by all means?
No, I think from what I've seen, it is almost a sort of like for like. I think you've got a sort of clinical goal scorer. His numbers for Blackburn are. Sam, you're the stat man. What's his numbers for Blackburn?
I don't know. I must have missed that one, boys. Fuck.
Yeah.
But no, to be honest, I think it's just. Oh god, I'm going to struggle to pronounce his name. That Ralph Hasenhüttl was. I think it was just he was very, very hot and cold last season with Southampton. There was games when they looked all right, but then they got absolutely hammered at Old Trafford, and that's become a bit of a regular theme now. Is like once a season Southampton ship 8-9 goals. So I think it's just losing Danny Ings is huge. They got a few players coming in that's going to have to adapt. Losing Vestergaard's another big one, and they were hot and cold last season. And I think a lot of the teams around them are strengthening.
9-1 pending, 9-0 pending even. Leicester. I'll tell you what, some cracking games this weekend. I'm glad I haven't got any plans. I'm going to have to sit.
The good thing though. Yeah.
Hey?
No, I won't. I was going to say the good thing about Arsenal being first is that it won't ruin the weekend.
Oh no, it still will. It still will, definitely. Leicester Wolves is a tough one. I think Wolves have got Jimenez back, so that'll be quite a little bit of an interesting see how, because I think they did miss him massively. Like the other, I can't remember the other guy's name. There's Fabio Silva, and then there's the guy they brought in for, I think his name's William Jose. Am I right there? Chris is nodding, so that's good.
William Jose.
He scored. How many goals did he score for? He scored for him two goals for him, I think. I remember because I had him in my fantasy team for about 2 months without even realizing, and it was just 1 point. And I thought, how can a striker get 1 point this many times? But yeah, Jimenez is going to be a great little. It would seem like an acquisition to them, really, won't it? Because he's been out for so long, and realistically,
still got some good players, Wolves, good wingers.
Yeah, Neto's a good player.
Podence, still got Traore.
Podence is class. Yeah, different gravy. And then
I think William Jose's gone back to Sociedad because I think it was only a loan, wasn't it? I believe. Just looking at it now.
Is it? Oh, I thought he signed for 20 mil.
That might be the young one, the 18-year-old.
Yeah, that was a loan. It was a loan.
Oh,
it was a loan.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it, as a replacement? Because he would just be Deadwood now that Jimenez is back. Then you got Watford Villa, unbelievable, and then Norwich Liverpool. You've got an easy, nice little start. Norwich away.
Yeah.
And then
Norwich, they're fucking shit. Make sure you fucking beat them. Fucking
Newcastle, West Ham, and then the big one on Sunday, obviously Tottenham City. So I don't know. So I reckon what we'll do 3 points for a correct result, for a correct score, and then we'll be nice. We'll do 2 points for a correct result. So if you get so remember what we did, Miller. I think we did this when we first started this. So you gave points if the correct team wins, or say if you get a draw, then yeah, it's correct. And then if you get the complete score correct, we'll do 3 points. So I'm writing this down now. So Chris, if you pick 3 games,
okay, and I'm gonna do them in non-chronological order. So we'll just go random. So let's do the big one of the weekend: Tottenham, Man City.
Who wants to go first?
Are you writing this down, then?
Yeah, I'm writing it down. I've already done a prediction for this game. I'll go 2-1 City.
At Tottenham,
Tottenham at home.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 1-0 City.
Mildog. This is a tough one because it all depends on who's playing up top for Tottenham and
that's what I'm saying. Tottenham could be fucking out, obviously.
Well, Kane's not playing. That's a cert.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it does matter. I don't think it matters. I just don't think Spurs will see the ball.
I'm going to go. Fuck it, man. I'm going to go 3-0 City.
2-0. Okay, 2. Yeah. So I got that down. So I got 2-1. 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
That's not coming in. No way. They won't be up for it as
prediction, mate.
much. They won't be up for it as much. They're coming off a loss as well, so I suppose they need to prove a point. But
Spurs
I
have
think
got the new manager effect.
Someone's breathing into that mic, man. I can't hear shit.
All right. I hope this isn't the start of what means to go on. That's a tough. Actually, that isn't too tough because it's a game that at least we know. It's not like Burnley Brighton where we don't know much about them. But,
I'm not picking Brighton Burnley. Don't you worry. I'm a nice person. I'm a nice person.
I had stats for that.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do the other two, and then Sam could do a stat. All right. Go on then. Just because Mr. Liverpool is on the pod. Norwich Liverpool.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Norwich are
3-0
at home.
3-0
That's the only reason
Liverpool.
it's tough. I think.
0-3.
Who have they signed? They've signed Rashikar. I think that's it. They still got
3-0
bloody.
Liverpool.
Have they still got what's his name?
Pookie.
Yeah, Pookie up front at top. He is, isn't he?
Yep.
I'm guessing he's still their leading man. Jesus.
Todd Campbell.
Wasn't it last time they met? Wasn't it 5-4? Wasn't it last time these two met?
That was an outrageous.
At Tower Road.
That was an outrageous game.
I don't think so. No.
Oh no, that's probably the time before, wasn't it? It was a while back. The Adam Lallana 90 whatever minute was. Klopp's glasses were flying.
One of the most ridiculous games I've ever watched in my entire life. By the way, it was almost as bad as the Villa one. But we won't go into that. What did you say, Lee? Sorry, 2-0.
3-0.
3-0. Right, 3-0. Drop down. Miller, I'll let you go first, mate, because I went last time.
I'm gonna say 2-0 Liverpool.
I'm gonna go 1-0. I think they'll just take a win. I mean, it's first game of the season. I think any team would just take a win right now. I don't want to say too many goals, but yeah, is what it is. Right.
An easy 1-0 Van Dijk.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it probably will. That would probably. Oh, imagine that. Lee would be. Well, you're at a wedding Saturday, Lee, so you won't be watching it, or are you gonna?
Yeah. I'm at a wedding Saturday. Yeah. Might be seeing it.
We won't be seeing the celebration. Or that video of you would need to turn into a meme. Is it? No, it's a photo, isn't it? I think it was when Liverpool won the final and you was in a suit.
Final. I was at a wedding. Yeah. They had it on a projector there. It was in the middle of a dance floor going mental.
Class. Last but not least, Chrissy.
Well, the Arsenal guys know this is coming. Brentford Arsenal.
Do you want stats?
No. No stats whatsoever.
I've written down loads of fucking stats for these games and I ain't used any of them. Fuck's sake.
Feel free, mate. There's not the time in the world for stats, but feel free. I'll tell you what, you can do a little video off air, record it, and then we'll upload it. Sam's stats. He's even got a ring.
Yeah, actually.
Sam's stats. I'm
gonna give you one anyway, so fuck you.
Can we get some branding for it as well? Like, like a proper his own intro and everything.
Yep.
That ain't happening, boys, so don't know.
It would just be his notepad and some music. Just your notepad and some music.
But I'm giving you it anyway because I've written it down, so you're just gonna have to, even if you're not listening. Brentford are unbeaten at home since Valentine's Day in competitive football. They've won 6, drawn 4 of their last games since then. Right? Arsenal have only won 18 out of 38 of the top flight matches in the season. And Ivan Toney
That's a
scored
terrible
33
stat.
goals. Mate, let me finish before you come in.
No, I'm just.
Ivan Toney scored 33 goals in 48 championship games for the Bees last season.
So it's 2-0 Brentford then.
I was just thinking that. You're literally just making me think, we're definitely losing.
No, but here's the last one, actually. I forgot to tell you this. Only 5 of Brentford's last 24 home... Well, only 5 of Brentford's 24 home games, they're self-scoring.
I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. I'm still confident. And I think Pepe will score 1. And I think... I'll tell you what. Lokonga. Mix it up. He'll get his first goal.
I like the look of him.
Yeah, he'll be playing tomorrow, won't he? Because Partey's injured, so who knows? He looks like he can go up back and up top as well, which is probably quite convenient because we need that. Because obviously Xhaka tends to just sort of play more defensively. But yeah, 2-1 Arsenal. Come on, Lee. I know you're going to say something that's going to piss me off.
I just think it's London derby. Fans would be bang up for it.
Yeah.
I love Ivan Toney.
They can get out Arsenal as well.
We've
can't they?
We've only got 1,000 fans there. Like that's
what I
on
mean.
Brentford.
When the fans are there,
No,
on a smaller ground, Arsenal don't like it all the time, do they? I'm going to go for 1-1.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout, to be honest. I think given the circumstances right now, given the fact that Partey's out, Aubameyang's out of form, I reckon a lot of Arsenal fans would probably take 1-0. Mildog, you look like you've got a cheery thing on your mind there. How nervous are you for tomorrow? What prediction are you going to give?
So I want to obviously go. I want to be, go with my heart, but my head says something different. But I'm just gonna have to be brave, and I'm gonna go with heart, I suppose. 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1. All right. Nice. Right. That's jotted down. I think I know what's going to come in. I just got a funny feeling it is going to be a draw now. I'm kind of going back on my word. Only because I think Lee's right in terms of the Brentford fan base. They've just been promoted. First time they're going to have a full stadium. I think them fans are going to be absolutely up for it. First game of the season as well, Friday night.
Yeah. On the beers.
Yeah, we've got to hope Big Papa made some fucking noise for the League then, don't we?
Yeah. Come on, Papa.
What would be what be your predictions for the 3 games, Chris?
Now you put me on the spot. So is that how it's going to go down? Okay, fair enough. Right, I will go with 2-0 Man City.
Decent. I'll write yours down anyway. We won't make you do a forfeit. We won't make you do that would just be cruel. But yeah, 2-0 City. That's I'll tell you what, that game's going to be so interesting. Just based on all the talk around it as well.
I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool. Norwich and Liverpool like to whack each other with goals. And then I'm going to get myself banned off this podcast and go 2-1 Brentford.
On that note, lad. Guys, cheers for coming on. Chris, it's been a pleasure as always. Boys, good to be back. But anyone that tunes in later on, I know there's a lot of stuff going on Thursday night, a lot of podcasts, but make sure you tune back in and enter our giveaway. All you got to do is subscribe to this channel. If you're watching on Twitter, head over to our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and give your prediction by the end of August on what's going to be the top 4. You got to the 19th of August to enter it, obviously, because after that, it will just more than likely be a bit obvious of who the top 4 are going to be. But Chris, I'm not sure if you've entered, mate, so make sure you go and enter. You're allowed. You're still a guest. But yeah, you can win a shirt of your own choice, 21-22 shirt. And we will be back on Monday, I believe. We've all got a bit of a busy weekend, so we'll be back with the roundups. Hope you all have a good weekend. Hopefully it's a good one. Whoever you're watching, whoever you're supporting, hopefully football starts on a positive note. And we'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.